How's it going, everybody? This is Joanne Vidal. You can find me on Twitter at JV88_football or on this channel. We're going to go through some cash core plays and some GPP plays for the DraftKings main slate for EPL on not September 16th. And we have a good one. It's a 5-game slate, so a lot of options to get to. Right off the bat, it's going to be a lot of ownership and attention going to Manchester City in their matchup and Tottenham in their matchup. Manchester City sitting only as a -200 on the road, while Tottenham is a -345, and their prices are more reasonable than the prices of Manchester City's players that you really want to get a share of. So before we get started, if you could like and subscribe, that would help me greatly on this channel. And let's go through the odds first for all 5 games. Every single one of them for the main slate, obviously, is starting at 10 a.m. Eastern. And we'll start off with Aston Villa at home taking on Crystal Palace. Aston Villa sits at -125 on the money line. The comeback on Crystal Palace is +350, and there is some spots that as one-offs I like from that game that we'll touch on in a minute. Next up, we have Fulham as a -149 at home taking on Luton, and the comeback on Luton is +425. And from this match, I do like a few plays as core plays. I think the pricing is way off on some of these players. We'll get into that. Then we have Manchester United at home +120 taking on Brighton, and Brighton on the comeback is +180 on the road. I do like the Brighton side of this, and we'll get into some plays. I don't think I'd be getting too much options. The prices are pretty high in a match that could very well be a stalemate. Then we have Tottenham as the biggest favorite at -345. They welcome Sheffield United, and the comeback on Sheffield United is +1,000 on the money line. And final game is West Ham United at home welcoming Manchester City. West Ham is the home dog at +550 on the money line. The comeback on Manchester City is -200. So we'll start with core plays from the Fulham and Luton side. Fulham is the third highest favorite on the slate. They're at home -149, and they're taking on Luton. For core plays, I do have a lot of interest in Andreas Pereira for this matchup. He takes the set shares for Fulham. It's in a matchup where at least they'll be able to, if they're not finding too many goals, at least they'll keep a lot of possession. They're a high-pace side, and they do draw a lot of fouls. And Luton is a team that's pretty aggressive off the ball, and they do commit a pretty decent amount of fouls. So I do like Pereira to get at least the opportunity to cross in some set shares from the midfield. He is an attacking midfielder, so he will take his chances, whether he's creating chances or actually taking his own shots on target. Off target doesn't make a difference for DFS. It still counts as points. It's just on target is higher chance to find the back of the net. But the main thing with Pereira is his price is, in my opinion, is way too low. It's he's coming in on DraftKings at 5,100, and I do like him with the set shares, the crossing volume, some drawn fouls. I think he can easily 2x the price. And I have him projected for around 11 to 12 DraftKings points. So at 5,100, he has that high floor. That floor can be anywhere north of 9 points. So I like him to as a core play and in GPP plays as well. For GPPs, I would look to if you're not using him just as a one-off, if you want some stacks of Fulham, I would look to get him in with some shares of if he gets to start Carlos Vinicius. He's a big body up front that has the ability to get on the end of some chances for Fulham, and his asking price is very reasonable at 4,200. Again, not sure if he's gonna get the start. If he's healthy, I would expect him to get the start. They still obviously lost Mitrovic to the Saudi Arabia League, so Vinicius at 4,200 and taking up the forward spot does free up a lot of space, and you are getting a home side who is the favorite against a Luton side who has been conceding goals. So I like that pairing of Vinicius and Andres Pereira. Also, though the price is not reasonable, I wouldn't mind taking some shots on Willian just because he has 7,300 on DraftKings. That could that's going to go overlooked from an ownership standpoint. And Willian, when healthy, he does take chances. We know he does get the shots off. He can draw some fouls. Maybe he cuts into some corner sets off of Pereira. Again, the downside is that without any kind of goal contribution, William is asking price is really gonna drown your lineups. So GPP only, wouldn't consider him for a core play. Core play for me, strictly just Andres Pereira. I don't think in the core plays. I think there's enough options that you don't have to go hunting with Carlos Vinicius, at least in cash and core plays. GPP, I do like some shares of Vinicius, like some shares of Willian, just because the price will keep his ownership way low. It's definitely going to come in sub 6 or 7%. So you don't need a lot to get over the field, but it's a contrarian play worth taking some shots. Leno in the goalkeeping, I don't have too much interest in. I know he can make saves, but the price tag, I think you're gonna need to save on the goalkeepers just to fit in some other spots that we like. From the Luton side, even as a core play, I do like Ryan Giles again. His price is really low at 5,800. You're gonna see a lot of people in that price range go to Andreas Pereira, but I think you're fine to play in cash games and whatnot. And as a core play, taking Giles along with Pereira in the as two separate one-offs, and then build your stacks around the some sides that we'll talk about in a minute. But Giles at 5,800, he's fine. As long as he gets the run of minutes, he'll be taking enough set shares and his open play volume from the wingback role. He'll listed as a midfielder, but plays a defensive mid attacking role as a fullback. So he'll get the open play crossing volume. I think he has enough in the tank, and Fulham's not a dominant possession team, even though I expect him to lead the possession with the back and forth. With a back and forth affair, I think Giles definitely can get crossing volume and created chances. So 5,800 makes sense to me. For GPPs, I wouldn't be opposed to taking some chances on like Morris, 5,400, and he handles the penalties should that come up. You really still kind of need a goal contribution for him, so I would limit him to just GPP. But even though he's only 5,400, I think a lot of people, if he starts, would pivot to save 1,000 and go to a Carlos Vinicius being the home favorite. So in GPPs, Morris, some chances on him, absolutely don't hate. And that's about it. Again, 5-game slate. Both sides, I'd really just limit to either a one-off or a pairing of the sides. So from Fulham side, any pairing, a 2-man or 3-man between Vinicius, Willian, you can get Harry Wilson into it, but mainly for me, Pereira, Vinicius, or William, and then from the on the comeback from the Luton side, Ryan Giles or paired with Carl Morris or Giles alone is fine. I think Ross Barkley might be out for this one. If he's in the lineup, definitely don't hate shares of him. When he is in the starting lineup, he is getting some shots off, and his price tag is low enough to take chances and high enough to keep his ownership low for the most part. Quickly going through the Aston Villa and Crystal Palace side. I know Aston Villa is a slight favorite, so they'll get some attention. I don't think their prices are favorable enough, and I think this match could very well be a stalemate. So I have very little interest in the keepers from both sides, Emilio Martinez and also Sam Johnson. I think if Villa puts enough shots on target, they're gonna break through, and Martinez is priced a little bit too high for my liking in both in core plays and GPPs. Crystal Palace has deadly attackers, so I'm not a fan of getting to Martinez. I have a bit of interest in Lucas Ding from Aston Villa on the wingback role, just because he has set shares. He's coming in at just under 6,000. I think it's around 5,500. Let's take a look. Yeah, 5,300 on the on DraftKings. So that price tag is fine. You'll see a couple people taking punts, and one punt I really do like in the defensive role. We'll get to in a couple of minutes to free up space for the attacking sides of Tottenham and the attacking sides of Manchester City, which are going to be popular. But I don't mind Lucas Digne. I think he has the floor should he stay healthy in the match. He'll be able to get some crossing volume off and get being at home. I expect I do give the lean to Aston Villa, though I wouldn't bet the match, and I have very little interest in any kind of stacking from the Villa side or the Crystal Palace side. But in GPPs, wouldn't mind some shots on Moussa Diaby or Ollie Watkins. They can get the shot volume off. I know I would expect at least Douglas Luiz to get some ownership shares because he does split the crossing volume. But I think when Ding is healthy, he'll take a lot of the set piece shares from Luis. So Luis's price tag has me off of him. For GPPs, maybe you can mix and match Ding with Luis or with Watkins or Diaby. Or if you want to go straight goal hunting option, Diaby and Watkins up top. Very risky, but GPP, sometimes you got to take those big risks to take down tournaments. From the Crystal Palace side, Eberechi, very, very expensive, but he has the the monopoly on set shares and the created chances, the drawn fouls, all of them come naturally to Etsy. And the shot volumes, his from direct set shares, he has the ability to put the ball on target, so you have the upside of goal hunting, but the price tag is very hard to get to. So not for me on core plays, but GPPs, it is a contrarian play. He's gonna get very little ownership, even though he has the set shares, just because there's set piece options at lower price tags that help you get the attacking pieces from Tottenham and Manchester City. So Etsy GPPs, don't mind it. I don't think you have to get more than like 10% ownership to be overweight on the field. Moving on, the Manchester United Brighton match. The total for goals is high in this match, so I think they will get a couple one-off pieces. I expect, despite the price tag being high, Bruno Fernandes is going to come in with high ownership, and he has the crossing volume, the drawn fouls, the chances he takes. He never leaves the pitch, so he's obviously a solid option, and the price tag will keep his ownership low, again, because of teams we have. 8,800 is low for what Bruno Fernandes should be. He has the floor. I don't know how much of the price he's going to pay off. His floor is obviously in the range of 14, 15 points. You still need some kind of goal contribution to pay off the 8,800 with the expectations and the projections that Tottenham and Manchester City's attackers are going to come in. But being at home, Fernandes is in great form. He handles the penalties, and he has, at least between the created chances and the shot volume, he's averaging on the season, again, short sample size, but on the season he's averaging north of 6.8 on the season. So I do like some shots on him. Given the lower ownership, I expect he's still going to be fairly high as a core play, still around like 30-35%, which is significantly low from Bruno Fernandes standards. But I don't mind him I don't think you need him in a cash play, but in single entries, which is a very like core dominant builds, usually like the 3 maxes and the single entry tournaments, I do like him in those spots. I think it helps you get leverage with the floor, and so you're not completely like punting in. So as far as GPPs, you can take some chances on Rasmus Holland, which I believe is going to get the nod here, given the situations. And mainly it's just the fact that Brighton, they have been winning in dominant form, but they are conceding, and Rasmus is coming in at 4,600 on DraftKings. So I do like some chances on him. Maybe you could pair him with Fernandes. Usually pairings and stacking pairs of Manchester United come with Fernandes and Marcus Rashford. Their prices are very high. It's really hard to fit them in with some better matchups. So, but Rasmus with Rashford, GPP wise, full punt, goal hunting punts is pretty contrarian. It's not for me, but I wouldn't blame anybody for taking that shot. Or Rasmus with Fernandes seems a little bit more reasonable. So, moving on to the Brighton side, I touched in the betting video a couple of days ago. The Brighton side is very appealing because, one, their prices are high, but they're just scoring at will, and even if they're not scoring, the shot volume, the created chances is spread out, and it's very high pace. Manchester United is dealing with injuries on the defensive back line, so I do expect Brighton to get some goals here. There's a question mark on one of my favorite plays, which is Evan Ferguson, mainly on the fact that his price tag is low at the forward spot. It's 5,800, and he is taking shots even when he doesn't score. I know he's coming off for like a hat trick, but even the games that he doesn't score, at least he's creating chances and taking shots at net to the tune of, between created chances and the shots in the net, he's averaging just under 4 per match at 5,800. Given the depleted back line of Manchester United, I have no issues taking shots, and I do like him as one of my favorite plays for single entries, for goal hunting options. The price tag is very reasonable. He is capable of bracing, and a goal is definitely in the realm of outcomes, given the status of Manchester United at the moment. As far as stacking pieces with him, because he's priced high, so for GPPs, because he's priced high, and he handles the indirect and direct set pieces, Pascal Gross is always an option, and even in open play, he just crosses at will. Also, Solly March takes chances, creates creates chances, takes shots on his own. The open play work is there, though he's not. He seems to be passing off the indirect set pieces to Pascal Gross. Solly March, I think he's going to get overlooked. And I wouldn't mind in GPPs some chances on Solly March as well as the other pieces, the penalty taker, Joao Pedro, and Karu Mitoma, who has the open play work to create his own chances. And he also likes to create chances. I don't mind Mitoma at all. From either side, I don't think you have to go more than a two-man pairing. Again, 5 slates and heavy ownership is going to be on Tottenham. It's going to be on Manchester City. So a two-man, I think, is good enough from either side, whichever side you favor. I personally favor the Brighton side, and Evan Ferguson is definitely one of my favorite plays from that Brighton side if he gets the nod. All right, moving on. The Tottenham side, heavy interest, going to get heavy ownership. In cash games, I do think you need to have at least a 3-man stacking of the Tottenham side. And first, we're going to start with Destiny Udegai, the wingback, and we're going to start with him mainly on the price tag. Is 4,700. I personally don't think that Sheffield is going to find the back of the net in this one, so I would build in the clean sheet bonus to Destiny for this one. And also his open play work. He's always getting upfield. He creates chances. He can draw fouls. Doesn't take too many shots on his own, but the at least the created chances and the drawn fouls are enough. And on the counter plays, he's very good defensively. Should Sheffield break out on the counters or challenge his side with Jadon Bogle, who's one of their better in a way attacking options on the wing. He'll be going up against Destiny. So I like Destiny to get some defensive metrics as well. Like I have him as just under 3 1 tackles and interception, and then you mix that in with the just under 3 drawn fouls. If he can get 1 or 2 created chances, despite not even taking any attempts of his own, at least that builds a high enough floor and will easily 2x the price should he get that clean sheet bonus without any kind of a goal contribution. So I like Destiny at 4,700 to start the Tottenham build. Obviously, you can't build Tottenham without James Maddison. And Maddison, despite the price tag, I think he's way too low. I think he should be coming in at around 11,000. We're getting him at 9,800. I think that's way too low for him. He has the set piece monopoly. He has the drawn foul rate and takes his own chances, creates enough chances for his side. He's sitting at between shots and created chances. He's sitting at an average on the season of over 7 created chances and shots, and then the crossing volume is there with an average over 4.5. He's got the drawn foul rate at just under 4. Yeah, just under 4 per match. So he's got all the metrics. They're at home. They're heavy favorites, and they got a favorable matchup against Sheffield, who likes to lean back and play a more defensive role. I think Maddison, even if he doesn't get a goal contribution, can still pay off the 9,800. And obviously, the goal contribution is definitely in play on this side. So James Maddison is a core play, all around play for me. And then either one of Kulikowski on the wing or Man or Solomon, they play into the role. They into the wing roles for Tottenham. They can create chances and take shots of their own. I like them in GPP pairings. I think their prices are a little bit too high for cash games, considering the amount you're going to have to spend up for James Maddison and the amount you have to spend up for Heung-min Son. I do like Heung-min Son in this one. Like I talked about in the previous DFS video, he is getting the chances. It was just a matter of time before he finds the back of the net, and he did find the back of the net multiple occasions in the previous matchup. I don't see that changing. At least one goal is good enough for me. He's coming in at 9,300, and he does have the shot volume, and he knows when to lay it off and create chances. So any kind of goal contribution will do for Son, and I do project him to have multiple goal contribution, whether that's a brace or whether that's a goal and an assist. I do like Son to get it done here, and 9,300 will. He's not going to come in low ownership, but it's enough ownership that I'm willing to eat any kind of chalk that may come, because I really like the matchup for him, and I think it's a scary move to fade him in this matchup. Fading Madison, I do not think is the way to go. I will have plenty of shares of them, and I do like Tottenham to get the job done. So there's a three man, even 4-man is fine. I don't mind them with Vicario in net. Pedro Porro is a very expensive, but he does push up. This is the matchup for him to push up. If any time in the season it'll be a time to pay up for Pedro Porro, I think this might be the time. And if you're looking for a stacking piece when tying him, that's a little bit cheaper, along with Destiny, because maybe you want to 3 or 4-man stack tying him and then get Manchester City pieces in there. I do like Bissouma. Bissouma is he's pretty much a midfielder, like a defensive midfield, but he does jump in on the offensive chances, and even from defensive metrics in the midfield, being left back to get some one tackle, and some interceptions, along with some created chances, or if he sneaks by and or sneaks into the midfield, takes some chances on his own. Overall, I think he has a pretty high floor. He's coming in fairly cheap for being such a high favorite. I know he doesn't have that much goal equity, but he does have a floor in the range of 6.5 to 7 points. He's coming in at 4,100. Absolutely don't hate that piece. And I think he's fine to stack as a core piece, as a straight punt to help you for salary relief to get those Manchester City pieces in. And as far as Sheffield, I have no interest in them at all. I know Tottenham has a high pace and are susceptible to the counter, but for me, I don't think this is the time to take shorts on Sheffield United. I think there's enough games and enough other spots that we went through to get different and to get some cheap pieces and some punts off of. Moving on to the final match, West Ham at home. The visiting side is Manchester City. So to start from West Ham, I do like some shots on James Ward-Prowse, because he's priced at 8,400. That's going to draw a lot of people off. You know, Manchester City is a possession-dominant team, and West Ham, I don't think, is going to be going out of their way to risk conceding and start pushing guys up. But when they get the ball on counters, if they draw some fouls, James Ward-Prowse does have a full monopoly over the indirect and set shares. They do get chances as direct attempts on net, he's a very accurate shooter, and he's always in play then to get off a direct free kick, the shots on target, or find the back of the net. He's one of the best in the business at direct free kicks for net, on net, and he does have the indirect sets. So outside of that, in this particular matchup, given the lack of possession, he's going to be falling into that similar role he played a season ago and 2 seasons ago for the longest time with Southampton, where he is able to get some one tackles and some interceptions. And when he does depossess people or get some interceptions, he's very good at drawing fouls. So I think even though the possession is not going to be in their favor, he has proven to be able to score from a DFS perspective, regardless to whether his team is dominating possession, or if they're like this match should be, if they're falling behind the eight ball on time of possession. So James Ward-Prowse 8,400. I don't think you need to go there, and I wouldn't go there as a core play. But GPP single entries, I have no issues if you want to get contrarian on that route. The rest of the West Ham side, definitely don't think you need to get more than a two-man pairing if you're in GPPs. If you want to get contrarian, the pairings with the James Ward-Prowse, any one of Jared Bowen or Lucas Paqueta or Mikel Antonio. Mikel Antonio is the highest risk because he is goal dependent despite the lower asking price of 5,700. I think at that range of 5,700, you can go with like an Andreas Pereira that we mentioned before, or and Evan Ferguson, who is on the road, but again against the depleted Manchester United side. Manchester City's defense is still well trained by Pep, and they've proven that if they concede, it's not usually more than one per match. So wouldn't go for Antonio, but running multiple lineups, why not get? He's going to come in at like sub 3% ownership. So why not take one shot if you're running multiple lineups in GPP? Paqueta does handle the penalties for the West Ham side. I just don't like his aggression and his constant fouling. So he's off for me personally, but the ownership is going to be very low on him. Jared Bowen, I don't think he's going to draw ownership only because he doesn't have a favorable asking price. He's actually higher than James Ward-Prowse, but James Ward-Prowse taking over the indirect sets. I would stick with James Ward-Prowse over Jared Bowen, even though Jared Bowen has a knack for finding those heroic goals in when he's priced up. Again, he's goal or bust. So unless it's multiple lineups in GPPs, I wouldn't get to it. Finally, let's end with Manchester City. Obviously, it's a hard team to fade. They've got a slew of talent. It's just the price is hard to get to. Julian Alvarez coming in at 9,100 for Manchester City. Then you got Phil Foden coming in at 8,200. Phil Foden is actually the most appealing piece, just because 8,200 for him is extremely low, and he has contributed in all but one goal so far on the season. The crossing volume is not there for him, but a mixture of shots and created chances. He's gonna get the ownership, so I couldn't talk anybody off of a fade. But me personally, if you are gonna take one shot, like a one off, that's cheap for Manchester City, or you're gonna do a pairing, I don't think Foden is a bad spot to start that pairing or be that one off in this matchup, just because he is one of the lowest salary attackers with scoring upside on a side that's the second largest favorite on the slate. Obviously, you have to talk about Erling Haaland. Erling Haaland is actually coming in cheaper than what we would expect. He's coming in at 10,000 on DraftKings. Usually a guy it doesn't matter if he was on Dortmund in Champions League slates years ago or being on Manchester City, he's always coming in at 11,000 plus easily. Always a threat for a brace upside. He's got the shot volume, but always going to come in as the highest or the most favorable odds for an anytime goal. I just don't know if one goal is enough. It shouldn't be enough at 10,000. One goal, giving him with his projected shot volume, giving him around 13, 14 points as the worst case should he find the back of the net. I still don't think 13, 14 is enough, but again, the fact that he is a brace upside, I do think that you do need some shares on him in GPP. in cash games, he is going to come in higher owned. Again, there's so many pieces throughout the slate that are low salary with high floors because given the set shares. So Holland is going to be popular. Very, very bold move if you're going to fade him. I don't know if I would go that route in core plays. GPPs, you need something spectacular to take down GPPs. So especially if you're doing like single bullets or just a handful of lineups. So GPPs, I wouldn't mind the being off of Holland, and then maybe you can be on some other pieces from Manchester City, Foden, Julian Alvarez, Bernardo Silva. When everybody's off of him, he just finds a way to score and ruin all the Manchester City stacks. So I don't mind Bernardo Silva. And he's coming in low. He's got midfield eligibility. He's got forward eligibility. More times than not, he's gonna produce nothing. But he just is historically he has those moments, and 6,200 is not the worst place to go for a build with the second highest favorite. Jeremy Doku, new signing. He did have an impressive first game. He has the drawn foul. His open play work is enough to build him a fairly good floor. So he's got the crossing volume. He's got the drawn foul rate. But again, the asking price 7,400. Not sure if personally I can get to it. Maybe for that with us for stacking Manchester City and going into that kind of range, I'd rather stay go a little bit lower and go for Rodri, just because it doesn't matter where he is, he'll take his own shots at the net. All you need him to do is put it on target, see if he can find the back of the net. His ownership is going to be low because he is very like boom or bust, and he's coming in at 7,200. There's so many attacking options up front, but Rodri, as far as attacking headers on corner sets or again outside the box, he'll fire away. He doesn't care. So worth some shots on GPP. Don't think you need to be there. Or you definitely don't need to be there on cash games, because cash games, anybody goes for those low salary set piece men we talked about couple minutes ago. They're going to use that salary savings to get in on Erling Haaland and Phil Foden or Erling Haaland and Julian Alvarez. So Rodri, not a bad play for GPPs. Doku, not a bad play for GPP. Silva could possibly be in those core plays, just because he is in the up there in an attacking role. He's coming as one of the cheaper options, and there's always those games historically that he somehow finds a goal contribution. All right, guys, that's all I got for today. Best of luck on your lineups, and again, if you can subscribe. Sorry if the video went a little longer. Try to get through all 5 game slates as quick as possible, given the plays that I personally like. Again, best of luck on any lineups you do, and I'll talk to you guys on the next one. Have a good one.